This crucial workshop aimed at finalizing and validating South Sudan National Referral Mechanism. This document, the result of intensive collaboration, seeks to streamline the identification and protection of human trafficking victims. Participants, including law enforcement and social service providers, work to ensure the plan effectiveness in the South Sudanese context. One of the participants, Elizabeth John, expressed satisfaction with the training.
This workshop has been an eye-opener to so many things, but particularly to the fact that the crime of trafficking in persons is very real, and it's very common in South Sudan, and there is little, almost to no awareness about the danger of the crime, the dangers of the crime, and then also in terms of legal frameworks, we have also come to know that there is no existing law to prevent and also curb on the crime. So this workshop has given us a great level of knowledge and understanding on the impact of the crime, and also how to identify trafficking in person activities of victims. And we have also gained knowledge in the area of interviewing victims of human trafficking. We have also gained knowledge in the area of trauma-informed care, particularly us, the advocates, the prosecutors, when it comes to handling prosecution, when it comes to generally taking the victims through the process, or even handling the whole an entire case of trafficking in persons. We have gained the importance of making sure that we don't inflict more harm or re-traumatize the victims. We have learned so many principles in as far as trauma-informed care is concerned. We have also learned how to identification and screening of trafficking in person. We went through a great detail on the content of the bill, not to mention also the convention and the protocol, the Palermo Protocol. Some of us were not very well versed with it, but in the past couple of days, we were able to understand the content of the law, and also were able to know the best practices in terms of standards. What is the international standard? We really appreciate the knowledge that we have gained, the interaction that we have had with some reputable institutions that we never have had opportunity to actually meet them. Particularly, for me, seeing my colleagues in the legal practice, the prosecutors, it was good, and also our colleagues from immigration, high-ranking officers from immigration left their places of work to come and attend this workshop. It was very encouraging to see that we actually have South Sudanese citizens who care about the direction where this country should go. It has dispelled the, should I say, when you're out there, you don't know. There is this perception that government, there's this negative perception we've had about government, but seeing you people coming here and attending and giving very relevant remarks and observations, it's very encouraging. I wanted to put forward some recommendations as participants to the organizers, IOM, and then also to the consultant, some of our recommendations. One of it, we realized that the law is still a bill. It hasn't been taken to Parliament. It's still at the ministry. So we were advocating for the bill to be expedited, the process of it being passed into law to be expedited. We're also requesting that there should be a benchmarking with other countries on TPI and issues of best practices in TPI. some members here are very well versed. They're already handling cases of TPI. It would be good to see them also being taken for like exchange learning visits to countries where they have best practice already in place, and they can also bring back the knowledge into the country. We also advocate for more trainings of this nature, particularly to the police, the immigration department, to advocates, and also especially prosecutors on how to handle TPI. There's been also a recommendation, particularly to the colleagues who are working in the immigration, the importance of having advanced gadgets for detecting activities of TPI. For example, iris scanners at the airport. There's been a plea that these gadgets will help in detecting TPI cases. Also advocating for amendment of the relevant laws. We had noted earlier on during the training that there are so many laws that are complementary to the bill that will be passed, but those laws are a bit more not, they need to be amended, they need to be revised. For example, the Penal Code Act, the Traffic Act, the Immigration Act, the Labor Act, Ministry of Justice. This is our plea. Expedite the process of amending. I know there's been some, in terms of amendment going on, like a revision of the laws going on, but we do not know to what end. So it would be good to have such kind of processes expedited.
This is the fourth activity of the task force since January 2025. The first three were supported by UNODC, that is crime management, mock or moot court cases, and then investigation of organized crimes in general and trafficking in particular. Those activities were carried out by support of our partners. Back to 2019, in establishment of the task force, it was composed of 22 members, ministries, and then IOM was given a task of technical to support the task force in technical issues. So the first activity we did with the IOM was assessment the trend of the human trafficking throughout South Sudan. That was the first activity. It was very informative. People were ignorant on what's happening. As you know, when we took the independence, nationality and passport immigration plus CID were being administered in the headquarters that was in Khartoum. In the source, the government of South Sudan by then, there was a vacuum. So Alliance Control and NCM were the two bodies managing the issue to do with immigration. And in one of the workshops, it was concluded that human trafficking become an issue. And in all reports coming from USA, every year, South Sudan was marked to be in tier 3. Tier 3, when you are marked to be in tier 1 or tier 2 or tier 3, it means that your country is just folding our hands without doing nothing. So we were put under that tier. As such, in one of the workshops, it was passed that there must be a need of forming a body to address the issues of human trafficking. That was the establishment of the task force. And from that time, with support of IOM, UNODC, we had a lot of achievement. We did a lot of achievement. Coming to current workshop, it is issue to do with referral mechanism. national referral mechanism when you identify the victims. Yes, you will arrest the suspect, but before reaching the suspect, the victims are the first people to be encountered by the first line officers, that is immigration, CID, custom. These are, we call them first line officers. So that one become an issue all this along. Who will fill in the gap during all this time up to the moment of handling the victims, especially the vulnerable group, children and girls and all ages, with IOM. So IOM is spearheading this awareness workshop, at least for the government of South Sudan to establish a body who will take care of victims throughout whenever they are encountered. And that's why this workshop is organized. This workshop is almost postponed now for 2 weeks. And we drawn the participants from the line ministries and commissions. You can see the police are on this side, CID, training, DNPI, gender and child protection. That is a pilot project being headed by Brigadier Joseph Duck is here with us. These are from the police units. Then with the labor, we have representative here. With the commissions, we have DDR, who handle those who are demobilized, the militaries. We have Minister of Justice, who are in charge of the case diary. Always with the police, we are just clerks. But the one in charge of the case diary, by law, are the Ministry of Justice or legal attorneys. So they are the leading agents in this workshop. We have also from civil society, they are here with us. Maybe my memory may betray me, but these are the all units, line units. We have Peak, who is advisor to the minister, and he's from Foreign Affairs, and he's advisor to the minister with UNODC, with issues to do with human trafficking. So this referral mechanism training, and these participants, we have engaged them almost first time. We assume them to be TOTs, to be our ambassadors in respective ministries. The leading ministry, I forgot, is Minister of Social Welfare and Gender. So we are coming here to help them what to do. As you know, last year we assumed to track down the issues of street child and niggers. But our hand was fall back because of budget. We couldn't continue harboring the street or niggers. But that work is solely responsibility of social welfare, prisons, and other institutions. So these are all an attempt to arrest that type of crime. I will not go so much, sir. The details of referral mechanism, you are going to hear it from our co-chair of the task force. But otherwise, these are our activities. We frame. We have only 2 partners. The social part is always taken by IOM, but the legal part is taken by UNODC. We will also need recommend to IOM also if they could source to us also to handle this area. The issue of victims is really an issue. Being aware that we are the source, the destination, and transit of the human trafficking. It is a source. Even South Sudanese, these last 2 years, they have become victims in the Mediterranean Sea and in Europe. We are the transit because the nature or the setting of our southerners is being taken as an advantage by other nations The majority are cattle keepers. We don't have technicians. So those, they will come and fill the gap and come and remain here. And we don't know what is happening in our hotel. Maybe they are exploited. They are not paid. So we are the destination. Will not go so much. This workshop is only to address the issue of how to handle victims of trafficking and other victims. I will call the MC to come and continue this program, but this is a brief introduction of the task force.
The International Organization for Migration Deputy Chief of Mission Asar Mohammed pledged support for safe and orderly migration.
As people involved with vulnerable people in your day-to-day work, it is our hope that the skills you have attained during this training will enable you to identify, refer, and provide support to the victims of trafficking. This is in our effort to support the government of South Sudan and other stakeholders to counter human trafficking in person in the Republic of South Sudan. I wish to thank the leadership of the Ministry of Interior for their continued collaboration, leadership, and support in achieving the milestones of the agenda set by the international community and by the government of South Sudan in dealing with these issues. International Organization for Migration will continue to support the government of South Sudan and will continue to appreciate the efforts that has been made and contribute to promote safe, orderly, and regulated migration in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, today's migration is not only driven but new push factors such as economic disparity, climate change, and other humanitarian issues push people to cross borders and seek better futures. We cannot stop that. It's never been stopped. But we can regulate it and improve the conditions of people crossing the border for the better future. South Sudan, as the General said himself a bit earlier, South Sudan continues to be the source destination for migrants, refugee migrants, labor migrants, and asylum seekers from various countries. Besides these migrants coming in, there are close to 2 million internally displaced persons. And we have seen in the aftermath of recent war in Sudan, that approximately more than 1.2 million people have already crossed the border into South Sudan. And I have always, whenever this discussion has come up, has congratulated the government of South Sudan for receiving everyone who have crossed the border with open arms and not creating impediments. I think efforts like these, where the ministries and everyone has taken the role to understand these migrant issues and dealing with them in an appropriate manner. Ladies and gentlemen, the International Organization of Migration has been actively involved in addressing migration issues in South Sudan, focusing on various aspects such as humanitarian assistance to displaced persons, awareness raising on trafficking prevention, assisting volunteer returns, providing protection, assistance to migrants, and promotion of regular migration pathways. I would like to commend the government of South Sudan for a remarkable effort it has made in addressing associated challenges related to transnational organized crime such as trafficking in person and smuggling of migrants by establishing of the national coordination mechanism, including the ratification of UN Convention against Transnational Organized Crimes. These are indeed commendable strides. However, with all the participants who have attended this training, I call upon you to make sure that when you cascade this knowledge to other colleagues in your offices and other hotspots, as protection victims begin with identification, proper screening, and on-time referral to the relevant stakeholders to support. Be as gentle and as courteous to people when you come across them. Unfortunately, a lot of South Sudanese have been hosted in the region and outside of the region as migrants. So a favor is returned every time you are taking care of someone. as South Sudanese has also been treated nicely and hopefully in the same manner. Thank you very much.
Sabri Waniladu, co-chair of the National Task Force, highlighted the need for specialized public prosecutors and investigative units.
Today we are concluding the 3 days TOT training that meant particularly for the government institutions and civil societies in regard to the issue of protection and assistance and supporting rehabilitation and repatriation of the victim of trafficking persons as the concept, which is abbreviated as the National Referral Mechanism. This comes one of the very important trainings that the task force recommended to be carried out for the relevant government institutions, civil societies, as well as the other training that were conducted in regard to investigation and prosecution, and also the legal framework for combating trafficking in persons and smuggling of migrants. And this training, the participants gain a lot of knowledge in different aspects of the trafficking in persons, as the crime and the different forms of the trafficking in persons, the legal framework internationally, and the legal framework in the country, whereby the participants acknowledge the deficiencies and the gaps that were identified in the legal system. As a result, the government accepted and drafted the bill, the Anti-Trafficking in Person Bill of 2024, and widely consulted with the relevant institution, validated also, and submitted to the Ministry of Justice for drafting and to be submitted to the Council of Ministers, thereafter Assembly and the Senate of His Excellency the President. The bill covered the principle of combating trafficking in persons in line with the protocol for combating trafficking in persons, especially women and children, and also the aspect of the victim protection, victim assistance support, and rehabilitation and repatriation. It's very important for the country to align all the laws in line with the international standard set under the convention that was ratified by the Republic of South Sudan, the Transnational Organized Convention. In this line, we as a task force, we always, as mandated by the ministerial order, to advise the government in the issues of the conventions and in the issues of the relevant laws that to be developed, and also in the issues of capacity building and awareness that are relating to combating trafficking in persons and smuggling of migrants. This is one of the big training that has been conducted by the task force in terms of the number, because the number is 50 from different government institutions. We had conducted several trainings in the several areas with the support of the UNODC and also IM, in which also different type of the government institution were invited, and they gain a lot of training. Again, what we are targeting from this training, that the recommendation that have been derived from the participant and from the consultant, we would like also to thank the consultant for the materials that are provided and the proposed guidelines that will be validated tomorrow. The validation will be conducted tomorrow. All members of the task force, plus some members of the relevant institution, their name will be announced after the closure of this training, so that tomorrow we'll validate the document that drafted by the task force with the help of the IAM and with the lead of the consultant that are hired by the IAM. This document is national referral mechanism that will be issued in terms of the guidelines for the government, and it will be sanctioned by the Ministry of Interior. That means at the end of this month, the final draft will be submitted to the ministry after soliciting all the relevant information and benchmark that will be conducted next week, so that the guidelines will be in line also with the best practice in the region. Again, I would like to thank the support that have been given to the task force by the IOM, and even the commitments and the political will that has been shown by the Ministry of Interior and Ministry of Justice, and even the whole government of the Republic of South Sudan. 2 years ago, we were in a situation that we accepted that we are not meeting the international standard because by then we were not members of all the relevant convention and protocols, and even we don't have a task force in place, and we don't have a different mechanism for combating trafficking persons. But all the recommendations that were submitted to the government were accepted through the advice of the task force by the government, in which now you have the National Task Force for Combating Trafficking Persons and Smuggling of Migrants. And we, as a government, we ratified the relevant conventions, the Convention for Transnational Organized Crime, and the 3 complementary protocols, plus also 2 other conventions, one for combating terrorist financing, and the other one for combating illicit trafficking in drugs and narcotics. And the mission remained for the government that this convention to be translated into the national laws, which means domestication, and the government start domestication some of these convention, like the government amended the Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Financing Terrorist Act of 2012, amended in 2024, in line with the FATF, or the Financial Action Task Force 40 recommendation plus 9, in which the law now is updated to the extent that it is in line with the international convention. In this regard also, the government amend the Anti-Corruption Commission Act so that to be in line with the Convention for Combating Corruption and also the transnational organized crime. And the government also is working very hard in this bill for the anti-trafficking in person bill, also to be in line with the convention and with the protocol. So, and even a lot of awareness were conducted, a lot of training were conducted, even to the extent also the UNODC support the task force and the Ministry of Interior to draft a manual for combating trafficking in person in terms of investigation, prosecution, and all this will be submitted to the Ministry of Interior so that it will be sanctioned and it will be officially used by all the relevant government institutions. To conclude, I would like to also drive the attention of the leadership of the government that there is a need for that recommendation that were submitted today or submitted to the task force and announced by the representative of the participant to be taken into consideration. And we as a task force, we do also recommend the following because we observe that it is the time and the right time that the government should carefully also look into this recommendation. Because for the trafficking in person to be combated in the country, we need the other agencies to be established, and this will not be established unless we get the bill passed. For example, we are looking forward to have a specialized public prosecution attorneys, a specialized investigating unit, a specialized court. And this will not be happen unless the bill pass. The other thing also, the task force will be turned into a permanent body whereby members will be appointed officially instead of being nominated by only. And then they will be like a secretariat. There is a task force which will be named the Committee for Combating Trafficking in Person. If the bill pass, then there will be a secretariat with certain functions and roles. And then there will be also like a trust fund account, which will be equivalent to like national referral mechanism. And this money that will be derived through the confiscation and through the donation also will be used for the support, assistance of the victim, and even rehabilitation, and even repatriation in case of the foreigners or South Sudanese abroad. Then in addition to that, we'll be also having offices at the level of the states. So there is importance of pushing the relevant authorities so that the bill will go to the Council of Ministers and pass. So the task force here requesting technical assistance from our partners so that we'll be able also to conduct high-level awareness to when the bill submitted to the Council of Ministers and to the Assembly so that we'll be able to defend why we have this bill that comprehensive in terms of preventing, protecting, prosecution, and rehabilitation, and repatriation, as well as a partner. The second recommendation is that it is not enough for the government to only ratify the convention, also to continue, as recommended, review some of the laws that were enacted 10 years ago or 15 years since the 2008, 2009, 2010, and 11 to be in line with the ratified convention. And again, also, we are hereby recommending also some laws to be enacted, because to combat trafficking in person by only the trafficking in person law is not enough. We need also a law that will protect the witnesses and the whistleblower and even the victim of the trafficking in person, so that when we are prosecuting traffickers, we will not come with the case that the witness is hesitating not to come and give a testimony, or even people will decline not to report because there is no protection or protection mechanism for them, even support and relocation in some situation. So the whistleblower and witness protection to be enacted. This is a recommendation. And the other also recommendation we require a technical assistance in it is that also the task force is looking forward that to have like a mutual legal assistance act separate, because we have some of the provision under the bill and some of the provision under the anti-money laundering and counter-financing terrorists about international cooperation, but we need a separate act that will be deal with the issues of mutual legal assistance, whereby because the trafficking in person is transnational by nature, and we will be having cases whereby we need evidence from the other countries. We need some of evidence to be taken to other countries, so you cannot be able to be given legal assistance in the absence of the law that will regulate who are this legal assistance, and also the bilateral agreement. So also Mutual Legal Assistance Act is very important to be enacted to support the combating trafficking in person. In addition to that, also extradition. Until this moment, as a task force, we identified that there is a gap in issues of extradition. We are doing it based on reciprocity. But if you ask whether we have a law in place that regulate the extradition process, I doubt we don't have until this moment, but we will be looking forward also this law to be also developed with the support of and technical assistance from the relevant committed partners. Finally, also, it is very important to, when you prosecute the traffickers, you will be targeting the assets and the properties and the instrumentalities used by the traffickers, and to drive out or to confiscate this asset, you need also a very strong law that will enable you to confiscate and also to take this asset as a public revenue of the government, and also be used for the supporting and assistance of the traffic victim, and also for the compensation, because compensation is also one of the government duties according to international standard. And passing this law will also enable us to implement the principle of not discriminate the victims of trafficking persons, also not criminate the victim of trafficking persons. Therefore, there is importance of having also developed an asset recovery law that will be help the government to confiscate asset of the traffickers. Finally, as a task force, we have already communicated with the UNODC to develop. We have proposal for the strategic plan of the country for like 3 years, how to combat this heinous crime, trafficking person, and smuggle of migrants, as well also a policy on migration policy. The two documents, we requested also support from our partners, technical assistance, so that we'll be able to update the document and also to be submitted to the Ministry of Interior, so that it will be submitted to the Council of Ministers as the strategic plan of the country for the coming 3 years. At the end, we would like to appreciate the support that always being given to us by our committed partner, IOM, and even also the political will and the commitment that has shown by the Ministry of Interior. As a result, all the conventions that have been ratified would have not been ratified without the commitment that given by, and the lobby that given by the Ministry of Interior. So we really appreciate the role played by the Ministry and the Ministry of Justice. At the end, I would like to congratulate the participant for today considered TOT, and we are not going to abandon you, because now you have become as our messengers to all the government institutions and communities. And if there is any further capacity building abroad, if the matter referred to us as a task force, nobody out of this group will not be or will be recommended, because we know you have a basic and we need you to acquire a lot of knowledge. Thank you very much.
The vision of the police is very clear. We like a country which is safe, secure, nation where everybody can do his work by day, by night, without any threat or any threat from anybody. Also, we are mandated in our mission that we have to protect and we have to combat the crime. We have to investigate, protect the life of the people, their property, public tranquility, and enforce the law. This is our mandate. But to do this, we have values. Without values, we will not achieve anything. We have to respect the human right, the right of the person. We have to assist the vulnerable group, which is women, children, and elderly people. The police is the only institution who work with the different stakeholders. We work with all the security organs, with the community, wherever they are, because these are the people we are handing to them the security. So to build a strong relationship, we have to let them have a trust on us. And to build a trust is not an easy thing. And that is why we started with the issue of community policing. In community policing, which I started in 2010, we divide Juba into sectors according to the map and police stations. So we like this issue of training you are doing, and with the knowledge now you are getting, I hope you melt also into these sectors, because everybody have a sector. Hayanim, Moniki, Kubri Aboba, Gumba, everybody is staying in a sector. In sector, you have to come together, and we have established that a sector nominate people. Police is a secretary there. Women, chiefs, students, farmers, traders, all the stakeholders are there. They are representatives. And they have to discuss issues which are concerning them. Issue to do with their security. Issue to do with their economic. What do they want from the police to do for them? These are the things they have to do it. Since we are mandated with the issue of trafficking, issue of crime across the border, and every crime which is taking place, the police have to investigate and find out. And that is why we have CID, crime in the investigation department. They are the one to update us about things which are going to happen, not happening. They are supposed to give us information, the right information, at the right time, in the right place, so that we can make decisions, or we plan according to those information we get from CID. I give you an example. 3 weeks ago, there are 2 girls kidnapped in after Libya. They were kidnapped in Atiak, and they were brought here almost 2 months in Juba here, in Haimamur. It happened that the person who is keeping them, I think after he closed the fence, the key fell from him. And the small girl went and took the key. After people went for sleeping, she opened the gate, and then she ran, both of them. When they found the police in the market, they hold the hand of the police. And they told the police, we are kidnapped by people who we did not know. So that police officer, who in fact a major, he brought them to me direct. The good thing, the small girl, 7 years old, know the number of her mother, the number of phone. So I called, and the mother responded she was in Kampala looking for these girls. I told her, now don't search anymore. You better come back to Juba and we will, you will get your children. That was a very serious issue. So you can imagine. These children were abducted by Murle. They go and abduct children in Uganda, bring them here. When we tried to investigate, we found this man, Hassan. She told me, the girl, that this man went to Wow to go and look for other children. So this issue of trafficking is a real. I think those of CID, maybe they tell you this story. But if we were having a strong community in sectors, those who knows their families, they would have detect this issue. Again, there is issue of also kidnapping children in southern Sudan here. 3 days ago, the Murle went and attacked Taposa. He took the cattle, he took women, he took children. Good enough, the children were released with women, but the cattle are taken. So you can see it is a serious issue. Things connected with economic. And the vulnerable people in this scenario are women and children. So this need us as a police, as a community, as a citizen of this country to combat this issue. And I am proud because now you get this training is important. So in any training you are going to do, tell the children that they should know the number of phone of their mothers or his father, because there are sometimes it will help. She will not have a phone, but if she get any body phone, you can communicate. We have a lot of things in issue to do with the drugs. Most of the fighting which are taking place, including niggers, they are fueled by the drugs, and they are fueled by also alcohol, because this alcohol, they call it what, this type of alcohol, when a child take it, he can stay for 2-3 days without food because he don't feel hunger. He can stay. The second thing also, he don't feel pain, even if he's shot with a gun or he's stabbed with a knife or with a stone. You will not feel it. And that is why you see them, they are very rude, and it is very dangerous. There are a lot of things which are going on with our youth. Even the mothers at home, they are scared from them. Because if you tell the father and the mother that you should control this boy, he will tell you that even us we fear here because he will go and inform the rest of his colleagues and attack them at home. So we have a problem, we are facing a problem, and this problem needs to be addressed in a manner which we can control them. When I was appointed, I found that we have 615 niggers detained in our premises there in Rajaf, and we were feeding them. We are the one who give them drugs. We don't have budget for them, and this is not our mandate. It is the work of social welfare, and that is why I decided that they have to be released. They have to be taken back to the police station where they were arrested, and then those who are below 18 should be released, and then hand them over to their relatives with attestation, and those who are above 18 should be taken to the court so they are punished. And until now, there is no any mechanism to address this issue of niggers. We wrote a proposal, a project, and we gave it to the government, especially Minister of Finance, how to address this issue of niggers. We have been talking about quick start, to be carpenter, to be whatever, this, to be a builder, to be what, which can give them cash money, because they, of course, they are dropped out from the school, or majority of them did not go to the school. And if you make a research, you will find that either the father is not there or the mother is not there. If they are staying with them, if the father is not there, and then somebody who is staying with the mother don't like these children, so they go to the street. Sometimes the father is there and the mother is there, but both of them are not responsible. They are drunk. They came at night, they beat these small boys. Then they prefer to go to the street. It is an issue. But the big issue is food security. When you analyze all these problems, you found that the issue is lying with the food security. I discussed this issue of these kids because I used to move at night from 2 to 3, 4 sometimes. They sleep at the veranda. They have a genuine issue to be addressed. They need the schools. They need food. They need people to advise them. And that is why the government, first of all, should have the issue of a school where everybody, every child can get a chair. Because what I learned, people think that it is the police to address everything. Police alone cannot address all these issues. It needs to be addressed by the government. So I appreciate the work these few people of IOM doing. And we are starting now with the knowledge. It is important. If you have knowledge, you can do anything. But if you don't have knowledge, if you don't have information, if you don't know how this thing can be done, and then you will be like somebody who want to cut down the tree using the axe, which is not sharp. You will cut it from morning to the evening, and then you will find your hands are bleeding the blood. But if this axe is sharp or sharpened, the tree will fall within 3 hours. So what you are doing here is like shaping your brain so that you can cut down the tree. That issue of trafficking, issue of money laundering, issue of to do with the children, a lot of abuses, we know them because we are the one mandated to address this issue, but it needs resources. What is facing the police, of course, one of them is the technology. These kids or new generation, they are very fast in technology. For those who are old, we are not faster like them. So we need the police also to be trained, because those days, if somebody is stolen the cow, it's a big crime. But nowadays, things change. Mr. Sarah was saying a lot of changes are taking place. Yes. Dr. Millis Manoro say every 100 years, things change. Every 100 years, things change. Even the tribe will change. These tribes we have here, it will change. Now we have a tribe, Yal Malakia. There is no tribe called Yal Malakia those days, but now it is there. So we have to get information. We have to think how to address this issue. You cannot prevent people to move. If there are wars, people move. If there are hungers, people move. If there are drought, people move. And they move wherever they can get life. Whether you like or not, they will be there. So this is where we are. We are trying to shape ourselves, because we have those who are lunatic, criminals, those who are corrupt. They work for themselves only. They don't think about others. These are a group of people. The second group are tribalists. This issue of tribes. I have a police, yes, I have them. But if I say something as their leader and commander, sometimes they will not listen to me. They prefer to listen to their chief. Basma kalam bata sultan bata. Manau mean that these are still the daira bata gabaliya. And this is a problem. The third group is the citizen, Muatan. And this is the people we need to have them. If you are a citizen, you will be abiding by law. God laws and government laws, if you abide by them, you don't have any problem. So we need citizens who are abiding by laws, who have regulation, listen to what the law says, kalam bata rabana, u kalam bata ganun بتاع الوطن, the law of the land, if you annex yourself with these two laws, you will live a peaceful life. And I hope these are the people we need. We need to have citizens who respect the laws of the land and the laws of the God. We have only 10 commandments, God laws. But in our laws, we have 451. We have so many laws, كتير. Lekin you get with the Jesus Christ have only 10. There is no difference between 10 and all these things. So I wish Anu, yani, we should abide by law so we become a citizen and we move away from this issue of crimes, just only thinking about yourself or about tribes or about what. This will not take us anywhere.
The collaborative effort between the National Task Force, IOM, and international partners demonstrate a shared dedication to eradicating human trafficking and protecting the rights of South Sudanese citizens.